figured I'd show you guys kind of the process of what I do to make sure our external water lines don't freeze. So we got a couple different things here. First things first, I'm gonna put on a new water filter just while I'm doing all this because it's gonna make the process a lot smoother. This is kind of our junction here with the water line. This year I'm gonna leave this hose on. I didn't do that last year, but I'm gonna try it this year and see. Then we got our heat tape. I've just got everything plugged in. We're kind of testing out. It's a 9-foot heat tape. And then our Camco heated water line. So that's really all we got. I mean, it should be pretty simple. So that's kind of what we're working with. Everything seems to be working. I plugged it in. Anytime you store it over the winter, I try to plug it back in and make sure it works. But I'll kind of set the camera up here, just show you how I install it. And it's real pretty simple. So first thing I'm going to do is put on the new water filter here. And then I've already got some plumber's tape on it, but if you don't, I would add that. I've got my water pressure regulator attached right there. Just going to feed it like so. And I'll eventually run it a little bit more, but I always run it right away. They have this charcoal inside that helps filter, so you kind of push some of that out right away at the beginning. And then this is also kind of where I know I want my heat tape to end. So what I'll do is I'm gonna feed just enough through here, and I'm gonna start kind of by taping all this stuff just like so. Just a couple wraps just to make sure it's nice and flat all over this thing here. Actually, I think I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna start by, then I'm gonna kind of start wrapping around, especially around this little T section here, just so that I get it all nice and covered. The big thing you want to do with heat tape is you don't want to overlap. Overlap is bad. That's how they it gets too hot and then it literally shorts it out, and yeah, becomes a problem. And I've got that's pretty good. I'm just gonna kind of rough it in. I'm just gonna take the heat tape and just wrap it around this pipe a lot, and then I'll get the spacing here in a second. All right, that is good for now. So as you can see here, this is the sensor, so you're gonna want that on the pipe. So what I like to do is kind of put it just enough to where it's not way low, because I had an issue last year where water and snow and ice and stuff built up, and that actually shorted it out and had an issue there. So I'm just gonna start like that, and I'm just gonna work my way from the top. So I'm gonna tape all this, and as you can see in there, it's wrapped around everything, but it's not crossing anywhere, so it's not overlapping. And then here I'll kind of work the spacing and tape it, but you just don't want it to look, you wouldn't want it to look like this, to where you got kind of multiple layers over themselves. That's how you'll short it out. And I'm just going to start taping just to make sure that this stuff all holds pretty well and doesn't slide around on us. Pretty good there. And then once I get to the top here, I'm now going to work my way from the bottom just so I can get this vertical spacing right to where it's not overlapping at all. Good. So as you can see, it's just wrapped all the way up. I've just got a little bit of electrical tape here and there. It's coming down off the tee onto my filter there. And then the base there, you can see I have it just off the ground to touch. And then I didn't pull that super tight to where that's gonna kind of kink that. So I've got a little bit of play in there, not putting too much stress. It's not gonna pull those wires out or anything. Kind of hanging off like that. And that's all you gotta do for the heat tape. It's super easy. Honestly, the heat tape alone should be enough, but I don't know, it gets pretty windy out here. It does get pretty cold. So what I'm gonna do is actually put some foam insulation over the top of this as well. There's a lot of mixed reviews on whether or not you should or should not cover heat tape. I would research it yourself before you do whatever you're doing, especially wherever you're putting it, just because this is exposed. It's not under my RV. It's not near anything flammable. I'm comfortable doing it. We did it all last year, didn't have any issues, but be careful with that. That is something you need to look forward. And now we're gonna put on this little foam insulation here to split. And so I'll kind of show you how I do it. This is a 6-foot piece. It's for a 1-inch pipe. But I'll kind of show you how I cut it to size and get it to work for us. Go from the bottom all the way up to the top there. So about there. Just gonna cut it just like that. I don't remember how I did it last year. I think I did it like this. As you can see, that's pretty good there. I'm gonna fill in, I need to go grab another piece, but I'll just fill in kind of around there. I'll fill in right there. This little stem is the most vulnerable part on most of these spigots. So you just gotta, I'll cover that because that's typically what freezes. And then you can't raise or lower this if you have an issue. So I'll get another, and then I think I'll probably just get another 6-footer and just cover the backside as well. I thought I only used one last year, but I must have used 2. So not a big deal for now. Once it gets real cold, I'll take this off, or just, yeah, I'll probably just disconnect it and then leave it and drain it. And then that way, if we need fresh water to spray something off, we can, but I probably won't leave it hooked up. All right, we've got our heated hose laid out. And first thing we're gonna do is just connect it in here. And then now all we need to do is kind of just push that sleeve up there so it covers kind of that junction. And then we are good to go on this end. And I've got this tied in to our line here. I've got this little, it's the little, I don't know, I think it's just a strain relief basically for the water filter, but I always use them right here because I don't have a 90 there. And in order to cover the hatch, I kind of have to do that. So yeah, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna slide the sleeve up there, and then I'll just take some more of that pipe insulation, put it up there like so. Able to find another piece of insulation. So as you can see, this is the final product. Went ahead and just got that covered up a little better. Got that pin nice and covered. And then as you can see, both my cables, my heat tape's good to go. And then it just runs over here with our heated hose into there. And then that little bit of insulation. Didn't have any problems with this setup last year. Hopefully this year is the same. I don't imagine we'll have any issues, but I guess you never know. Hopefully that was a helpful video on how to kind of take care of your outside water lines and water supply, how to get those winterized and make sure that they don't freeze during the winter. We only had one freeze up last year, and that's because our heat tape died on us for some reason. But other than that, we had no issues. A lot of snow. It got below freezing a lot. Only down in the single digits and negatives a little bit, but that was kind of the scariest one. Hopefully this was a helpful video on how to take care of all of your water lines when doing winter RV.